Hey, Algebra 2 Trig, welcome back. We are doing 6.3. We're going to solve trig equations today. And the central question is, how do I solve trig equations? Okay, so let's do example 1. Example 1 will be solve 2 sine x minus 1 equals 0. So again, whenever I'm solving something, I'm just looking for I want to get x all by itself essentially. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides. Then I'll have 2 sine of x equals 1. Then I will divide by 2. Then I will have sine of x equals 1/2. Okay, I don't want to do inverse function just yet. Right now, all I'm asking myself is sine of which angle x is 1/2. Well, if I look at the unit circle, sine is 1/2 at pi over 6 and 5 pi over 6. I'll show you right here. Sine is, if you look on unit circle, sine is 1/2 at pi over 6 and 5 pi over 6. And the problem is that in your original problem, it just said solve. So actually, it could be at pi over 6, but if I keep adding 2 pi, its sine's always going to be 1/2 whenever I add 2 pi. So I have to make a restriction for that. So I'm going to add 2n pi. The same thing with 5 pi over 6. If they don't restrict the domain of x, I can keep adding 2 pi, and that's a repeated answer over and over. If you think about it, I have an infinite amount of answers. So therefore, x will equal pi over 6 plus 2n pi, and 5 pi over 6 plus 2n pi. And the reason why I'm adding this 2n pi is I'm going to keep plugging in values for n. So if I plug in 1 for n, I'm adding 2 pi, and I'm still at pi over 6. It's just a different radian, but it's still at the same spot. And then same thing, if I plug in 2 for n, that'll be pi over 6 plus 4 pi, and plus if I have pi over 6 and I add 4 pi, I'm still at the same spot, but again, it's just a different radian. So I have to account for all the possible values. Okay. Example 2. Let's do one where the domain is restricted. So we're going to solve 2 sine squared x minus sine x minus 1 equals 0. And we're going to do this in the interval 0 to 2 pi. Good? Okay, so if I do that, well, it doesn't look like I can isolate x this way. I have a squared and a sine squared and a sine, so it looks like I probably have to factor, so I'm going to factor. Okay, so if I factor this correctly, I should end up with 2 sine of x plus 1 and sine of x minus 1. Okay? And then just like any other equation where I factored it, I'm going to set each parentheses equal to 0. So 2 sine x plus 1 equals 0. And sine x minus 1 equals 0. I'm going to subtract 1, divide by 2, much like this one right here. Well, actually, I added 1 over there. But this will be sine of x equals negative 1/2. And this will be sine of x equals 1. Okay, so at this point, I can write all my answers. So I know sine of x is 1 at pi over 2, between 0 and 2 pi. Okay, and I know sine of x is negative 1/2 at negative 7 pi over 6 and 11 pi over 6. Okay. And then I only have 3 answers. I don't have to add the 2n pi because I'm restricted by this domain. Okay. If you have any questions, go ahead and write that down, and we will answer it tomorrow.